Welcome to Tabletop Assault. I'm Ross, and today we're going to continue our examination of forces within the Adeptus Mechanicus force. Today I'm going to look at the other HQ choice within Adeptus Mechanicus, and that is going to be the Tech Priest Dominus. Now, you only have two choices within the Adeptus Mechanicus force, and I've already talked about Call and his advantages, but we should also look at the other choice we have, which is the Tech Priest Dominus. Now, he is a good unit for what he can do in terms of for the army. He's essentially what you can call a sort of a little brother version of Call in terms of there are quite a lot of similar rules to him, but Call does do them a lot better. So we'll go into sort of the Tech Priest stats, the weapons they can use and the special rules, and then I'll talk about sort of what role do they play in the game. So in terms of their stats, they have movement 6, which means that they are the average sort of movement for a foot slogging unit. They are weapon skill 3, and for an HQ, that's kind of low. Most HQs are going to be 2+, but for Tech Priest Dominus it's 3+, and to be honest it's not the worst, you know, depending on what kind of role you want them to play. They are, however, ballistic skill 2, so they've obviously been thought to be quite more focused on the shooting rather than the combat side. They are only strength 4 and toughness 4, which is average but significantly lower than Call himself. They do have 5 wounds, which is really good. You know, it means that they do have a lot of wounds to play with in terms of survivability. They have 3 attacks, which again is a bit low, I think, for an HQ. Some have 4. 3 is okay, but it does reflect that they are aiming for a slightly different role. They are leadership 8, okay. And they do have a 2-up save, which is excellent. It does mean that they do have great armor save to begin with. Now, Call doesn't have options for war gear, he's got his set out, while Tech Priest Dominus you do have a little bit of leeway. So they are armed with the Omicine Axe, Volkite Blaster and Macro Stubber. Now you can exchange the Volkite Blaster for an Eradicator Ray and the Macro Stubber for the Phosphor Serpenta. So what are these weapons, what do they actually do, and are they any good? So we're going to begin with the Eradication Ray. So the Eradication Ray is 24 inches, heavy D3, strength 6, minus 2 AP and 1 damage. Okay weapon, it is 24 inch range now compared to Call, and if you saw in his video I did sort of say that his range was limited because it was only 12. This does mean that the Tech Priest Dominus might actually play a bigger part in terms of if you are keeping him back, he can play a more significant role. However, there's also an advantage to him in case your opponent does actually come within half range, I believe. In fact, it's within 8-inch range. Basically what happens, attacks from this weapon that target an enemy within 8-inch range or less are resolved with minus 4 AP and damage D3, so it does step up their damage quite significantly, or at least the possibility for it. I think that's actually a really good weapon for an HQ. It's a good shooting weapon at range. It's going to do okay. It's going to maybe kill a few of the lighter troops, and kind of handy in that. If your opponent does get within the shorter range, you can sort of scare them by if they bring big creatures near you. You can guarantee you're going to get through quite a few of their armour and possibly cause quite a bit of damage. What makes me sort of apprehensive on it is that it's a heavy D3, so you can't move to get within that 8-inch range. So for instance, if your opponent deep strikes in and he is 9 inches away, 9 inches and more away, and fails the charge, which they'll probably try. If you move, you obviously can't really shoot on that one, which is a bit of a struggle, but fair play. So yeah, you can shoot, but you're obviously -1 to hit. You're still hit on 3 pluses, so there's obviously that advantage, and it will give you that extra bit of damage. The danger of that is if Tech Priest, again a bit closer, is danger zone for him. We then have the Macro Stubber, which is a 12-inch gun. It is a pistol 5, strength 4 and 1 damage. Now being able to shoot 5 shots from a single pistol is kind of cool. Problem is a pistol. Now the rule of pistols is that you cannot fire any other weapon. Bit tricky on that one, so that means you have to give up your Eradication Ray to, if you do go with the Eradication Ray, you can't use Microstubber and the Eradication Ray, so you have to choose between them. Generally, it's a bit of a tough call. Because the Microstubber is basically just strength 4 and 1 damage, it's 5 bolt gunshots at range 12. I think you're going to struggle to justify that a wee bit over an Eradication Ray, because it's may only be one shot, but wherever it's going to hit at a bigger range, and if it is 8 inches, it's going to get some damage. There's more potential with it. But certainly the advantage is that if you do end up having your Tech Priest Dominus in combat and you survive and you go into another round, you can shoot it as well. Kind of handy, bit handy against hordes. We then have the Volkite Blaster. Now the Volkite Blaster would replace the Eradication Ray. What it does is 24 inches, so again you are getting that extra distance. It is a heavy 3, strength 6, with no AP and 1 damage. The difference is though, each time you make a roll of 6+, wound roll of 6+ for this weapon, the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to the other damage. So the advantage to that is that, yeah, you don't have the armour, so against really tanky units they're probably going to just ignore it, they're going to swipe it off. But you do have the guaranteed heavy 3 shots, you do get 3 shots, if you don't move you are going to be hitting 2+, and those 6s to wounds cause a mortal wound and additional damage on it as well, which is really kind of handy, getting mortal wounds in. If you get those 6s, it is excellent, it will be really handy, and you get the additional damage. You really want to target lighter troops for this, not so much heavy. Don't target Terminators with that, because then you are purely relying on the mortal wound, and again you're only going to cause 1 wound with it on top of your additional damages. Still a nice gun. Between the Eradication Ray and the Volkite Blaster, I haven't decided what I think is the best. It really depends on what your opponent is bringing on that side. The next ranged weapon is the Phosphor Serpenta. Now this would replace the Microstubber. It is an 18-inch weapon. It's Assault 1, Strength 5, -1 AP, 1 damage. Units attacked by this weapon do not gain the bonus to their saving throw for being in cover. So it's only 1 shot, which is kind of okay, but you don't get the advantage of cover. Now things in cover in this game are it's a lot harder to get cover, and they generally tend to be backfield units, such as Devastators, who want to sit in cover and just blast away with an additional shot. Might be handy in that one, but it means you have to really sort of move forward to use it. But its main advantage is that if you do use that instead of the Microstubber, you can fire it in addition to your Eradication Ray and your Volkite Blaster, or one of the other. So it's kind of handy in that, in the terms of you're going to get 2 weapons to fire. Instead of the Microstubber you can only fire 1, but you do have the combat element as well. For the combat weapon of the Tech Priest Dominus is the Omicine Axe, which is a melee weapon. It is Strength +1, which will become Strength 5. It is -2 AP and 2 damage. Now that's not bad. That's not bad as weapons go for someone who has a further lot of gun options. He is still hitting on 3+. He's going to be wounding toughness 4 things on 3+, and he's going to be -2 off the armour and 2 damage. Not bad, but again I just don't feel Tech Priest Dominus is armed for combat as such. He's not going to be the real winner and most dedicated units charging him, and even if he's charging there's no guarantee he's going to do the damage back. Armed with the Microstubber as well, in the shooting phase you can, if it continues on combat, you can fire that as well, just giving you a wee bit extra damage, which is kind of handy. So that is the weapons he's got. In terms of that one, I'll talk about what my sort of preferred loadout for that is in a minute, but what we'll do is we'll focus on the actual abilities of the Tech Priest Dominus, and that is where I feel his, the unit's points sort of match up. So he's got Canticles of the Omnissiah. Now, able to use Canticles of the Omnissiah for your army wide, every unit in your detachment must have Canticles of the Omnissiah. So he's got it in an Admech army. Great, you're going to get Canticles of the Omnissiah. He has a Refractor Field, which is 5 up invul, so having invul, can't complain, always handy. You're never really going to get a save less than a 5+, except against mortal wounds. He has Master of Machines. Now this is similar, I believe Call has the same thing, which is at the end of your movement phase, this model can repair a single friendly Adeptus Mechanicus model within 3 inches but not himself. That model regains D3 lost wounds. A model may not be the target of Master Machine ability more than once per turn, regardless of the source. Now, very, very good ability this, and it saved me in quite a few games, to be honest. Usually I have, if I have a Tech Priest Dominus near Doom Crawlers, and they're taking a heavy bit of damage and their ballistic skill gets reduced, the amount of times I've actually managed to recover wounds onto Doom Crawlers, so it's not only surviving longer, it is generally hitting better. I think I played one game where I got down to 1 wound and somehow managed to get him back up to 7 wounds in like 2 turns time, and it was fantastic. He was back up to max optimization. Very handy to sit in your backfield and repair units. He has got Masterwork Bionics. At the beginning of each of your turns, remove up to D3 wounds that this model has suffered earlier in the game. So he only has 5 wounds as a model. That means that if you're going down to 2 wounds and you recover all of them, great, but you're in danger zone if you're suffering that much damage on a character already. But if you ever get brought down to 1 wound and then suddenly you're back up to 4, really nice ability just to make sure he is surviving, and with a 2+ save, kind of handy as well. And finally, he has Lord of the Machine Cult, possibly one of the most important abilities for the Tech Priest Dominus. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 in the shooting phase for friendly Forge World units within 6 inches. So unlike Call, where Call only benefits units of Mars, so if you are playing with Call, every unit you have is going to be a Mars faction. And but with the Tech Priest Dominus, if your fan's going a bit different, sure, you can be a different Forge World, and he can buff them as well. A bit different to Call in the essence that Call can allow you to reroll all hits for Mars units. Tech Priests are only rolls of 1. Now this sort of clashes a wee bit with Mechanicus All Messiah. I think it's Benediction of the All Messiah, which does essentially the same thing for your army all wide. Everything Mechanicus All Messiah gets it. So it doesn't quite gel there. I'd love to see if that had a slightly different rule where maybe, I don't know, if it was +1 to hit with everything with 6 inches, so it actually gels with the Benediction of All Messiah, where you get the reroll of 1 and you get +1, but then that sort of doesn't work on that side, because if you're +1 you can't actually get a 1. So that doesn't work either. Hey, I was just thinking of that one on the fly. It doesn't quite gel, but it certainly means that for more turns throughout the game you are going to get that rerolls, and if you plan out how you are going to deploy your units, you can still see a huge advantage. Nothing's worse than when you're firing last cannons or Castellan robots, or even worse, you fire your Doom Crawler and you roll 1, you get that reroll, fantastic. So in terms of how I would load them out, I've really gone with them a bit more of the ranged essence rather than going combat. So you usually see me running them with an Eradication Ray, though as a heavy D3, it gives you more of the possibility of the AP damage. And I feel AP is very important in this game, and you do have the advantage of if they get closer, you can cause more damage. I also run with the Phosphor Serpenta. Now, okay, the Macrosauber lets shoot in combat, but the Phosphor Serpenta is an extra shot at a bigger range, and generally I don't like getting my Tech Priest in combat. I haven't yet. I haven't tried it and I don't want to, but I just use them in that format so they can at least put out a wee bit more shooting. Now the main part they're going to play an important role is their rules. Now if you are going by the fact that you're going to keep backfield with your artillery, and by artillery I mean mainly sort of your Doom Crawlers and your Castellan robots, get Call. He allows a lot more in essence of, you know, rerolling all hits. He also can recover wounds through Master of the Machines, and he can influence the Mechanicus All Messiah if you do decide to roll. He has a lot more points, but I feel that makes him a big advantage. But where does the Tech Priest Dominus fit, where you're either not using Call or you are using Call? In bigger games, a Tech Priest Dominus, I feel, and I haven't used it in this format yet, can go upfield with some of your troop choices. So say Call's obviously in the backfield, rerolling your heavy hitters, while you have sort of Vanguard and a Tech Priest moving forward. If you have, you know, say 3 units of Vanguard, all with their radium carbines, and if you go with their plasma weapons as well, it means that you're a little bit less scared of one, overheating if you decide to supercharge, and you get all that wonderful Assault 3 weapons shooting alongside them as well, that you get to reroll the ones which they wouldn't benefit from Call because they're moving upfield. It just adds that wee bit extra for them if they are moving forward. I haven't used it yet. I'd love to give it a try in sort of a larger game. In terms of the backfield as well, they are also still a big advantage because the reroll ones is still really handy for your back units. So for instance, we're going to go with the Iron Striders. If you go with the Last Cannons, nothing's worse than missing with a Last Cannon. It's a trap state, it's a big shot, you lose. So being able to reroll one's very handy. It means that you only naturally fail solely on a 2 unless you move, because it's a heavy weapon, but you do have great range. They do hit on 3+ and they don't get worse with Iron Striders. I've played a game where I rolled, I think 50% of my shots were 2s, and I can't describe how devastated I was because Call would allow you to reroll them. Tech Priest doesn't, but I did roll ones as well and they became hits. And with Last Cannon against your opponent's heavy vehicles or heavy units, real advantage. So again, a Tech Priest Dominus can fill the role of the backfield, basically buff artillery, and again he can cover wounds on those artillery and bigger creatures, but I feel he does suit going upfield as well with your Vanguard to possibly help pile on more and more shots. I'm really excited to try that way, mainly because I finally have Call. It's going to be a couple of battle reports till I get him on the field and you see him, and I'm super excited to try it. But I'd love to see him and a Tech Priest Dominus going off with his sort of troop choices, buffing them, while Call is going on to the artillery. That's how I would field them in the future. I'd love to hear what you guys think. How do you think is a Tech Priest Dominus to Call? If you're playing 1 HQ, is Tech Priest worth it over Call? Let me know. I've got my opinions and I haven't even tried Call yet. But I believe that in terms of HQs you could use, yeah, they're not bad. They fill certain roles. It's mainly buffing, and they're not going to cause much damage, but certainly the buffs, the recovery is really handy as well. So thanks for watching. Please let me know what you think of Tech Priest Dominus. Please comment below. Please like, share, subscribe, and obviously check us out on social media as well. We post up, we've started posting up all our projects and everything, what we're doing. We speak a lot about the community as well. A lot of hints of things coming out, which is excellent because a lot of things I'm really excited for if you've been looking at the sort of future releases. So thanks again. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you maybe learned some things, thought about ways to play Tech Priest Dominus. Maybe you didn't learn anything from me and you actually learned from the comments, because I learned so much from you guys as well. So thanks again guys, and we'll see you again on our Tabletop Assault Battle Report.